So that when we go to the voting booth, we're not thinking, what have they done for me lately? We're thinking, what must I do to benefit my community, to benefit my nation, to benefit my God, so that my life can be a blessing to him and my nation can be a glory to his name? When can we return to this understanding of who we are? Only if we are willing to take a stand now. And there's one issue in this nation, and it's why I talk about it all the time, that exemplifies this truth more than any other. And exemplifies, too, the requirement that we can't afford to act as if the only time we need to move is when our ox is gored. It's like the devil's mocking us and God is letting him do it by showing us that the ox that's being gored is life itself and humanity itself in the very womb of our care as a people. And we are doing it to death because we stand and do nothing when we are obliged by our God and by our creed and by our Constitution to put the slaughter to an end. When will we move? Are we waiting until the gray-haired elderly are under the knife? Are we waiting until those in depression and despair have been tempted to suicide? Are we waiting until they have allowed the invitation to mercy killing? To take those who really deserve our comfort and our support and our help and our discipleship and our love and lead them down the road to their self-destruction. What are we waiting for? We now have two reasons to know. Roe versus Wade. Let me declare it clearly and succinctly because the Constitution demands it. Roe versus Wade has collapsed. Roe versus Wade is dead. Roe versus Wade can have no force of law because it plainly violates the Constitution's demand that no person be deprived of life without due process, that no state make or enforce any laws that withdraws from any person the equal protection of the law. If we mean to stand now as a nation who has proven our recommitment to the premises of our founding, then we must stand with one voice and demand of all those who claim they represent us that every abortion clinic under the power of any executive in our nation must be shut down forthwith so that our Constitution does not stand abandoned. This is not an issue of partisanship. This is not an issue of rebelliousness and lawlessness. This is an issue of whether or not we as a people mean to take the initiative to put us back into consistency with our Constitution and in conscience consistency with our own claim of unalienable right. God bless the ones who first step forward to make this clear to the nation, who by their actions step forward so that every American will realize. If those who are trying to withdraw the equal protection of the law from the nascent children and the born children like Cuomo in New York, and the elderly like the folks who advocate the death panels under Obamacare, if they're trying to withdraw support of the Constitution, let them try to do it by constitutional amendment. Let them go through the process by which this people will declare the abdication of its conscience and the betrayal of its God. For then, instead of drifting to perdition, we will have well deserved it. And you can bet God will let us suffer the consequences of our abandonment. But if we mean to avoid it, we must force them to try, and we must defeat them when they do.